Every time you say that, Harry, they throw things. You need to stop over. Oh no! Fight the one. Plummet's not alone here. Oh no, Plummet!
Desire here needs to watch out.
Oh, big nades. Oh, big nades. There is so. Hello and welcome to week 3 of the Halo 5 Pro Series. This is our coverage for Europa Halo. I'm Sharzy1, joined by the wonderful sidekick that is Wonder Boy. Good to have you back, Harry.
Who's on social this week? Get him fired. I'm not having that. That's some sidekick. Whatever, man. I'm over it. I'm in a bad mood. You know what? I even had skips and Pringles and chocolate before I came on. It's not fixed my mood.
It hasn't changed.
A grotty little mood this week.
We've got the winner finals this week, though, Harry. That's picked up your spirits just a little bit.
Yeah, whatever, man. Nice. No, I'm just kidding. Winners finals this week. We actually get to see the continuation of the battle between. We're not going to call them plonkers because we rattled some cages last week, but the former Notorious, the former Power, the former Rebirth, Reborn team. Against Cartel, and they haven't been able to solve the enigma. And there's only so many ways that we can say it, but we get to see it. We get to see it in the winners finals this week. If you remember correctly, Richie, last week they actually took a game in the winners finals, and obviously they'd like to win the entire series this time around. But maybe we'll see a bit more of a competitive series than we're used to seeing in the grand finals, because every grand finals we've seen so far has just been a bit of a 3-0 sweep. So. This is their chance, clean slate again this week. Yeah, it's still Cartel. They're still going to be playing their lightning quick gameplay, but maybe they can put up a good fight here in the winners finals.
Yeah, well, maybe the challenge is to save your strength for the winners finals and just do it. Do it in the grand finals. That's the time to do it. Turn up, maybe take the whole series once and then do it again. Come grand finals, just reset that bracket and go again. This time we're going to be calling them EGIF. It's a little acronym we have for them. It's England, Germany, Italy, and France, all mashed into EGIF, and they'll be going up against the formidable Cartel that just do not seem to drop a map at best. They don't ever seem to drop a series either. You've got the usual suspects: SLG, Snipe Drone, Kimbo, and Jimbo up on the other side with Legend, Seekit, and the boys. So it's going to be a monstrous title to try and take off them. But up first, we have Strongholds on the rig, Harry. What way do you see it going?
You're going to have to remind me about EGIF. I'm going to forget it.
Yeah.
Because they've had so many names now. I mean, Power was all right. They didn't like that, though, so they changed it to Notorious, which I believe was spelt wrong, wasn't it? If I remember correctly.
I think
they spelled it wrong.
I think Spilly might have spelled it wrong.
Spilly spelled it wrong. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Blame Spilly. Notorious was good too. I didn't like it as much as Power, but I could say it. Now they're EGIF.
Yeah.
I've got nothing to say on the name. But Stronghold's rig is the first game. Who are we missing from this lobby, by the way? Have we got all the boys in? We're missing Shady.
We're still in Forge.
We're missing a couple of the EGIF boys as well. Mose and Shady, I believe, are the two that we're missing right now. So we've got a little bit of time to talk before the game starts. But Rig Strongholds, the problem that we've been seeing really for EGIF is it's almost like they're still trying to play methodical and they're still trying to, play the way that they're used to playing, like Halo 5. But Cartel have kind of realized that you don't need to play that way. You really don't need to play that way on Halo 5. You can kind of, for the first 60% of the game, you can almost use it as like scrap time and throw away and play super, super risky and throw all your eggs in the basket. And if they come out the other end cracked, then maybe you start to reel things in a little bit. But if they're scrambling nicely, you just keep on scrambling them. So for me, it's we say it so often, it's a bit of a cop-out. A good start, a really strong start might shake or rattle the Cartel cages, so to speak. I would like to see how Cartel react when they go down 60-0 on the losing end of a triple cap. But the problem is we've never seen them face that kind of adversity because it is so hard to keep the individuals down on that team. So But obviously, if I'm a betting man, which I'm not, but if I was, I would put all my money on Cartel based on their previous form. But if we get to see them in some kind of form of adversity, we need to see how they bounce back from that.
It's an interesting point you actually raised as well, as though how they realize they don't have to play so methodical and how the meta shifted. And I raised a question a few months back about what team would have come out on top. Would it be the current roster of Cartel or the former roster of Fabi that was so dominant in Europe across and spanning a series of tournaments? Now Jimbo, of course, has found himself on both rosters. What way would you have seen those two panning out if they had they gone glove to glove?
I think it's a difficult question to ask because the Halo 5 that Fabi were playing is very, very different to the Halo 5 that Cartel are playing now. Snakebite was talking about it on his stream, and I completely agree with him. Like, if you're playing 2016, 2017 Halo 5 against Cartel, when they're flying at you and you have your AR out straight away, they're dead in like half a second. So you can't play that way with assault rifles. It's a difficult question to ask. I think obviously we've seen Fabi do it at live tournaments in that live tournament, that live event setting. So probably I would have to back Fabi, as we have a bit of a false start here, as is customary to these tournaments nowadays.
Yeah, I feel as though a false start is tradition and that we cannot break it. It's snipe drone this time. Last week we had Shiesty, I believe, who kept duck dive and dipping his way out of the lobby. It's this time it's snipe drone. Ethernet cables have come loose. His mum's cut off his internet, and he's one way or another found himself offline. And we will try and get him back involved very, very shortly. But we have to touch upon as well is how good Legend, Shady, Seeka, and Jimbo have been. They haven't seemed to have missed a step since SLG was replaced by Jimbo. And I'm actually really impressed by how well Jimbo's meshed in with the team.
Yeah, it's been great to see, and listening to how Jim talks about the roster on his stream, throughout the week is great to listen to. You can really feel that confidence coming back into Jimbo, and I believe he was speaking to his stream in the week, and he said something like, "Oh, it's nice to be on a roster where if I try something and it doesn't come off, I'm not being blamed, and I'm not, having the weight of the game put upon my shoulders." He's allowed to play with a bit more freedom now, which is nice, and we're starting to see the best out of him again. He doesn't feel like he has to be putting up those 20 kill games in Slayers in order to not be dropped from the team in the next week, which is, the type of team environment that you want to be on. And the likes of Legend, Seeker, and Shady, they applaud you if you're trying to push 1v2 and you make two guys weak. That's going to free up the likes of Shady and Seeker to come in and get those double kills. So, he's fitting like a glove. It's great to see, as we said at the end of last week, Jimbo at the back to the top of European Halo. It's where he belongs. It's where he's been for years, and it's good to see him back at the top.
It's actually interesting comments that Jimbo's made. You have obviously the one side that you could look at it as though he's just really happy with the team he's landed on. But is that in some way a part and blow to the teams he has been on before? Maybe a little bit of shade that maybe the shackles weren't off and he couldn't dance and maybe spread his wings like he is now on this Cartel roster, and he felt a little bit as though he had to play within himself on those other rosters.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't want to put words in his mouth or anything, and I don't want to say this is anything against his previous rosters, but
yeah.
I think he's more enjoying the amount of freedom that he's allowed to play with, and it's not even like he's scrimming with these guys, he's playing these tournaments and then he's getting off. He's watching the games back, because these players that he's playing alongside, like Legend and Shady especially, are doing things in the game that he's like, how does that work? Like, so he's still learning from them. He's watching through the games back and seeing what these guys are doing, which is great to see. He's never done learning in European Halo, is Jim. He's almost come back to being a bit of a student of the game, so to speak, on this roster, which it's great to see. We want to see that evolution of Jimbo and the boys. So they go again this week. They're looking to make it, 3 in a row now this season? 8 in a row overall. It's not bad.
Not too shabby whatsoever. And you say how Jimbo, I was in the stream and he was talking about how he wanted to go back and rewatch how Legend played on the rig, just how free he was in everybody's faces, he was getting around. It just seemed like as though he could not be touched. And Jimbo was able to not only notice that in game, but made a note to himself that he wanted to rewatch, see how he was getting about. And here we are on the strongholds on the rig. So we'll see if Jim has learned anything from Legend himself. And the boys over on EGIF, they're gonna have, they're gonna want to put these boys to the sword every single time. They just seem to be the kryptonite. They don't have the answers to the questions posed by Cartel, but one week you have to feel as though maybe things will click for them, because they are top players.
They are. First port of call, obviously, is preventing players like Jimbo getting away with the camouflage. And Snipe Drone just misses the headshot. So that means Jim is going to be allowed to scuttle away with the first power-up of the game. That, of course, helps things out for Cartel immediately because they're going to know the timing on the camouflage grab. Obviously, Snipe Drone was a witness to it, so both teams should have a decent idea. But the next port of call is obviously SLG with the railgun's great, but you need to find where Jim is. You need to make sure he's not going to be the one flanking you and preventing any form of offense going your way. He's finally taken down by Mose, but he's taking the railgun out of action for now. Here's Mose to pick up the new rail though.
Rail goes down. It was in SLG's hands. It's now transferred over to Mo's. Camo though now down. Has Jim made a misplay? Will that come back to haunt him? Still early days just yet, but it's a good start for Cartel. They're already scoring now with triple cap in full effect as well, and these Cartel boys are just not messing around at the moment. And EGIF need to get a grip and get a grip fast.
They do. They're trying to break inside of the map once again. SLG is just going for weapons. That's obviously not great, especially when you don't have a kill to your name. You now have 4 down. Everyone coming off the respawn here for EGIF. You have Shady with Rail, Legend with the first kill, second kill. And yeah, it's a nightmare situation here from EGIF. And the worst part is you had one spawner we saw there on Shady's point of view spawning over bunker side. That immediately puts you at a numerical disadvantage coming off the respawn at Carbine. So that one bunker player either has to run in and die and hope that he respawns with the rest of his team, or just has to wait for the rest of his team to die so that they spawn up with him. In the end, it looks like that's what's happened. They're scrambling for BR base again without kills here, EGIF. And they're getting trades, but trades and strongholds, Richie, when you're trying to break into a triple cap, it's not what you want. You need clean kills, and well, clean kills are what Cartel are getting right now.
Yeah, the Fox is amongst the pigeons at the moment, and EGIF just cannot seem to get themselves steady, just constantly rocked, constantly wobbled, and not able to get their bearings. This is what Cartel do to teams. They're all in your face all of the time, and now Sika gets that camouflage, has that Predator combo with the rail gun in his back pocket as well. Snipe Drone sees him there in Engine 2. It does land a pretty nice nade from him as well, but unfortunately Legend gets the clean up onto Snipe Drone in Tower 2, and they're starting to spawn out on Carbine. We see Mo's the player outlined there, and Sika just has the rub of the green here, the freedom of the playground to do what he wants. Parkour with the Predator combo. He will not be seen, he will not be touched for the moment. He of course charges that up and they get an audio cue. Snipe Drone caught with his pants down by Sika with the railgun there. Lovely work from Sika, put some shots down into that white corner as well, and it's 77 points to 0, and it's looking tough right now.
Yeah, it was 62-0 before the second camouflage was even on the map, and I love the play from Sika, by the way, not trying to overextend for that triple. He knew his teammates were down in numbers, so why not just wait for Legend to get his third or fourth double kill of the game, and then you push BR base with two of your buddies instead. So no point wasting the camo trying to overextend and make a play. So they are methodical at times, a Cartel. They know when to reel themselves in, and Sika with 5 kills in a row, the 5th there on Snipe Drone, means that this is looking like 100-0, Richie. It's not looking good here for EGIF.
Yeah, heads up play by Sika with that camouflage, not overextended, not feeling like he had to do too much at one time with the camo. As long as he had it in his chest, the game was his oyster, and there we go, 100-0 for Cartel, and by God, can they be stopped?
Well, we were a little complacent over the last few weeks, weren't we, Richie, that we didn't get to see the winners finals.
Yeah.
We're starting to see why, because Cartel just brushed aside the entire bracket before we even have a chance to go live. Legend, we never saw his point of view. 12 kills in the game, 4 double kills, by the way. We constantly saw him in the kill feed with I mean, 8 of his 12 kills, Richie, were double kills. That's kind of crazy. Like, you're taking 2 players down on the map at once, 4 different times in the game for Legend, which is absolutely unreal. Damage dealt wise, I mean, Mose and Kimbo the lowest on EGIF, but most of Cartel very well rounded there, and well, it's a dream start for them going into the rest of the series. 1-0 already.
4 power weapon kills for Cartel, only the 1 for EGIF, and 2 camouflages going by the way of Cartel. Snipe Drone almost stopped Jimbo with that first one, but he was managed to scupper away into the sewer, and that was merely just an indication of what was to come. It was little mistakes, little things like that. And you don't even want to say it was mistakes from EGIF. It was just how good Cartel played. But you can bounce back now on Slayer Plaza. So it's all about controlling that overshield, getting that snipe rifle, and if one man can bring this series and grab it by the scruff of the neck, it's going to be Kimbo.
Yeah. We were a little hard on him last week, weren't we?
We were.
He wasn't too happy with us because we were, singling him out at times, which I don't think was unwarranted, but I would love to see a huge game here from Robbie. Like you said, I saw him on the old Infused roster back when he was on the outside looking in of Fabi, and he was the man most of the time. When he got the sniper, he was setting the stage alight. So big game from him here is what we want to see. Overshield's still up for grabs here, but the worrying thing, if you are EGIF, when you play against Cartel, even when they're 2 down, you don't feel completely safe on the map. So Snipe Drone there just had to take another couple of seconds. He's going to be the man to pick up the boomstick, and we'll see if he can maybe turn Cartel onto their backs here. A nice headshot onto Legend.
Headshot onto Legend. And that's how much respect these players, these Cartel roster demands, is that even when you have 2 of them down, you're not willing to go and get that overshield. We do have a DC on one side. It looks as though we're going to have to continue as that fair the rules. It looks as though Robbie has dipped out. Snipe Drone still has a sniper rifle. I'm not sure what way it'll pan out. We're going to keep getting kills until maybe somebody ends the game, or will this be ended? We'll have to get the rule book thrown at them at one point.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the ruling is. I know that after a certain time you have to continue playing, so it looks like the players are going to continue on. And yeah, in a Slayer game it's not great, especially against Cartel. You don't want to be down in numbers in this kind of game against this type of team. But generally in a Slayer game, when you are in a 3v4, it can sometimes play in your favour. I mean, we saw it last season, right? Mocket against this EGIF team, I do believe, were down in a 3v4 towards the latter stages of a Regret Slayer game, and it worked out in their favour. And numerically, on paper, it makes sense because you have less players to die and less points to surrender to the enemy team. And on the other side, you have more players to kill than the other team has. So yeah, it's I would love to say it might work in that favour here for EGIF. They're going to have to play on though in the 3v4.
Just as we're talking there, EGIF got themselves 4 kills in a fresh wipe. And you'd be a little bit disappointed if you were EGIF. You had such a hot start, still ahead at the moment as well, but things were looking pretty good for you. But just like that,
oh
the lead
my
gets cut into, and Legend and Co starting to turn up, starting to heat up. But again, you have to be really disappointed that your teammate Kimbo has dropped out. He had a really nice start there, Wonder Boy.
It's gotta suck, but did you see SLG with the snipe got fired on by all 4 Cartel members at once on top mid? He was just thinking of dipping into yard, and this is where you're in big problems if you really EGIF, because Cartel now have you trapped down at snipe lift with Shady with the overshield to take on 2 players on the respawn as well. Even if he doesn't get that trade, Legend is there as well to clean things up. And yeah, it's tough to play against Cartel, and that's probably like saying water is wet at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's when they know when you're spawning, it makes things all the more difficult. This Legend somehow is milking his life to the very end.
Quite difficult when you have a full team, regardless when you're actually down a man. It only further compounds your misery.
Did you just say irregardless?
I did. Is that allowed? Is that banned?
No, it's not a word.
I'm making things up. I'm okay with it. I'll allow it. And nobody in the Twitch chat would have said anything either. Harry, I don't know why you have to highlight that. Why are you trying to make me look foolish? Huh? What are you doing here?
Hey, Robbie's back.
Is Robbie back in? Is he involved? How has that happened? But it's still within touching. It's still within touching distance anyway. So if Robbie's got himself back in and back in the action, we have a series in our hand all of a sudden.
Yes, we do. Must have been a momentary lapse in Xbox's power there for Robbie, aka Kimbo, but he's back, and now we're back at a 4v4. And well, Snipe Drone has a big shot to hit off of your screens. He's just gone down. You can see that in the kill feed. He had the sniper that's now transitioned over to Shady. And well, with a 4-point lead, you now have a weapon that's capable of getting untradeable kills to extend that margin even more. But look at this, Shady doesn't want to sit back with Snipe. He wants to try and clean up Seeker's mess here. And Smartly is going to back down. We're going to see some nice movement here from Shady, I think, to try and evade Snipe Drone, who's obviously hunting him for that power weapon as well.
It looks as though Snipe Drone has been evaded successfully. Looks as though he was looking up at the cloud trunk, but Shady was out of there. On the cinema stairs now, Jimbo and Shady with a combination of the 2 take down Mo's. That's going to be frustrating as well. Snipe Drone gets taken down as well. So Snipe Drone would have been calling out that player and has managed to die to him and lose a teammate at the same time. That's not what you want to do when you're in a Slayer against these boys. But they're heating up, and they're up by 10 kills now that Kimbo's back in.
Yeah, Seeker with another double. We see it so often from him. Just taking a quick look at the stats, he's actually the most kills in the game with 13. So we'll see what he's up to here on Plaza. It's the 3rd overshield in a row. for Cartel, I do believe, here on Plaza. 40-28 now. Seeker's overshield is completely gone, but you can see Snipe Drone. Seeker already knew he was going to spawn open field, and Snipe Drone had no idea where he was. So that's the problem with playing Cartel, is that they just know exactly where you are at all times. Watch out, Snipe Drone, you might get 5 for the overkill. Smartly backs down into Tram, but this one, Richie, is all over already.
It's done, and it's almost dusted. This will surely be a 2-0 series lead. SLG now he wishes he could be back on that Cartel roster in place of Jimbo, getting that hashtag free money. We can get that trending. But he's still... It's so disappointing though, isn't it? You started off so hot in this game and you've lost Kimbo, and obviously both teams, you know, you take the foot off. You said already, your head goes down if you are E-Gift, that you had such a hot start, and you're taken back then, and there it is, 34-50 in favour of Cartel. They go 2-0 in the series, and up next we've got Oddball Echelon, and it's hard to digest that and really break it down as to what went wrong, what went right, when we pretty much know what the issue was. It was Kimbo's internet failing him, and it's sad to see, but maybe, just maybe, they can bounce back in this Oddball game here, Harry.
Yeah, maybe. What's crazy about that game when we look at the stats, 13 kills, 18 assists from Legend, and just the assist column overall from Cartel is not one you're accustomed to seeing on a Slayer game type, let alone Slayer Plaza. That just shows you how well they were moving around the map together. But yeah, coming back to the 3v4 situation, yes, it helps you in terms of the numerical advantage. Like it sounds dumb, but obviously you have less kills to give away to the enemy team. But the problem in that kind of situation is obviously you have less bodies to fight around the overshield, right? We had 3 overshields in a row go Cartel's favor, and when that happens, you're likely to see a score deficit, as we did. So yeah, unfortunate there for Kimbo. Yeah, it's not great. It's not what you want to see. But hey, they have Oddball Echelon, and fun fact, Richie, they have this game type in their next 3 series should they make it back to the grand finals. They play it here in game 3, they play it in the losers final in game 3, and then they play it in the grand finals in game 2, I think. So, or game 1 or something like that. I don't know, I'm making it up, but they play it a lot this tournament. They better like this game type, because they're in for the long haul.
You and I have different definitions of fun fact. But we're on board with Seeker now as he picks up the ball, or at least should do, and he does, and sticks it into his hand, starts to rack up some points immediately. Good work from him as we stay on board. Jimbo, of course, dead with the rockets as well, as Camouflage also being burned in the meantime. We'll get a little look at that as Seeker gets taken down and taken out of the game on that pipes area. It's good work from Kimbo and the boys, starting to get a little bit of a foothold in the game early doors. Those early scores did go against them. You see all 3 members of Cartel just in the face of that one player, Snipe Drone. Got a face full of Cartel. That's never a recipe for success.
It's not, and it's one of the beautiful things about this observer mode. Obviously, we get to see the way the players move together in the outlines. Kimbo, though, doing such a good job when he had 3 Cartel players on his screen essentially at one point. How he's still alive in this same life to have taken down Legend and then gotten another kill before going down. That is quite impressive indeed. We jump on to Legend as he reversal 5 Snipe Drone. That's a big swing kill. And well, I was going to comment on how E-Gift have done such a good job of not allowing Cartel to run away with early spells of possession with the ball. It's 35-1. Another big chunk of time going their way here. They could get to at least 50 points before the next E-Gift push comes in.
They had a full setup there for a moment, but just like that, it has been taken down. Shady now off the respawn, fighting against Snipe Drone as well, and Snipe Drone doing a great job of backing that player down. Doesn't actually have to get the kill as long as you can stop them making any sort of inroads into your territory. Snipe Drone gets a lovely 5 onto Legend as well. Perfect shots from him. It's good to see Mike starting to heat up now as well, now helping his teammate, former teammate there, Jimbo, goes down to the hands of Snipe Drone as well. Now Mike's starting to heat up.
Yeah, that little 5 from Snipe Drone back onto Legend. Don't forget, moments previous, it was the other way around. So Snipe Drone saying, hey, you have that one back, buddy. If I'm Snipe Drone here, I'm looking for camo, seeing what kind of situation's going on over there. But there's another 5. Shady winning a pivotal fight against a power weapon player with the power up in his possession now as well. All the time, E-Giff has been getting time. I've just pronounced it E-Giff, but Shady grabs the ball before it goes off. That's going to be another big chunk of time going Cartel's way. just these micro plays not going EGIF's way currently. If Snipe Drone's able to kill Shady, he never has camo, he never plays his life here, and well, maybe we don't see Cartel with this lead that is only going forwards now.
Yeah, every single time we seem to see a Cartel member in one of those pivotal fights, those fights that could dictate the pace of the game and how things are going to go, they seem to win it time after time. They just ice up, get the shots down, and come out with the victory in the 1v1 as SLG falls to the hands of a Cartel member there. I believe it was Jimbo. And now Kimbo in a 1v1 of his own, make that a 1v2 as Jimbo tunes in. He's all alone down here. Members of Cartel flying everywhere. He's like a deer in the headlights, didn't know who to shoot. And in the end, he gets taken down, but does a good job doing some damage in the meantime. But Jimbo now bottom middle in the fight now as well with Moes, but he's come out top again. 2 members of Cartel taking down 1 member of EGIF, and time after time Cartel playing lights out at the moment.
They are. I'm liking this survivability we're seeing from Jim. Oftentimes in the past we've seen him maybe try and overplay his life, but I think he's starting to realise his Shady off screen's just picked up a triple. You can see that in the kill feed. He's starting to learn now with Cartel that maybe his life is more valuable than it would once appear. 2 kills go Cartel's way right as the rockets are coming up. That's going to probably put the probability scale in Cartel's favour in terms of getting that power weapon. Shady though has gone down. Legend's here to pick up the rockets. He's fired 1. That means only 1 to play with, and now Jim is the last alive with the rockets. Shady is on the new camo, but it's all about trying to stop this ball time going in for Cartel as they are 1 point away from 100. 3 down though for Cartel.
3 down momentarily, coming off the respawn. Moes with 1 rocket still left in the chamber and the ball in his hand as well. Let's see him try and pass it off. Unfortunately, he has run straight into a member of Cartel. That place was not safe for him. Maybe should have retreated and backed up to his teammates, but of course he maybe didn't get the call. The shots go down now. He's in a 1v1 with Shady. Both players down to no shields, but this time Shady gets the win over Moes. The Malta International seeking now down bottom middle. A twist of his own. Can he stick or will he twist? Will he get himself out of dodge? Yes, he does, with his teammate picking up that ball as well. Put it in a playable area as well. And there it goes. Camouflage in the hands of EGIF and in the hands of SLG. And what can he do with it here?
Oh, needs a big life out of Norwin here. I mean, they're down by a minute, although that is slowly closing. 2 kills go their way as well, and this is where maybe if you can stop Cartel playing this scrappy style of gameplay that they are so well known for now, you can start to maybe just put the pressure on them. The play ball comes in. Kimbo here trying to play his life, goes down. The question is, where are the eyes on the new ball here? Are they going to scrap for it? Are they going to wait for the first kill? Jimbo and Legend are working together so well right now. They are very, very well oiled indeed, and all 4 are Cartel within the same area there. Means that they are just moments away from winning this winners bracket final 3-0, as they have, well, not last week because it was 3-1, but several times before they've been winning series 3-0s. It's becoming a habit for them, Richie.
Not a bad habit to pick up as well. Winning 3-0, only losing I think a couple of maps last week, and before that it was flawless. I couldn't tell you the last time they've actually dropped a map in any of these tournaments, but the problem with Oddball and Echelon at the moment is a series of corridors, and they seem to be in a pack all the time, always fighting with each other, but EGIF unable to really help each other out when it came down to it, when crunch came to crunch. Jimbo still has opted not to use those rockets. Instead, he's going to use them on Snipe Drone, gets that kill. Only 20 seconds required now, gets that kill as well onto Moes, picks up the ball, still has a rocket. I'd like to see him try and pass that off if possible and use that one last rocket in his chamber. He's not going to be able to do so though, as SLG takes him down. So ball and rockets for EGIF at the moment, but it's only a matter of time now before the sand drips away and they haven't got enough in the tank to mount any sort of a comeback here. Still should be 1 rocket in play, but nobody has picked it up at the moment. Nobody sees it down there by the ball. Down goes Snipe Drone. There's the ball. There is that rocket I talked about. There it is in the hands of Shady. It's gone to the wrong team. It's camouflage and rockets in the hands of Shady, and it's time just dripping away here. And it looks as though EGIF have given up on it.
Good job, Shady. I'm not sure that one will count towards a +1, and 4 down for Cartel. I'll tell you what, if this comeback happens now, I think Seeker might be looking at his teammates thinking, do we get rid of this Shady guy? But with only 2 points to go, I think it's a formality at this point. That life from Cyclone, by the way, when he was moving in, maybe he was thinking about what you were saying, Richie, about the fact there was one rocket down there. He was trying to find them, but I think the reason Shady was shooting his body is because Cyclone went in, did no damage until he was about no shields, and that's something that just can't happen against this Cartel team. You need to be putting damage against them all the time. Otherwise, this kind of scoreline happens. 150 to nowhere near. And 3-0 the series. A very quick winners finals.
I really appreciate Wonderboy tapping into his Emperor Palpatine for a moment and shouting, "Do it." And then him having no choice but to fire the rocket. It was though he used his Jedi mind powers to control him for a moment. That rocket went sailing towards his teammate. And it did go forward dead momentarily, but it was all in vain. It didn't help EGIF any which way, and the series has shaken out to be a 3-0. And do you want to break that down? Is there anything you've noticed there, Harry?
I mean, obviously Shady memeing. He had 25 kills, not including the one on Seeker with the rockets, but also Legend. Legend's assist column has been off the charts these few games that we've seen. He's just been putting damage down, and he's not afraid to play, put himself in jeopardy either. I mean, he had 16 kills, 17 deaths, but combine that with his 17 assists. I mean, he's averaging, a kill and an assist every single life, which is, he's punching well above his station at that point. So well done to Legend. We don't need to keep praising him. I think he knows at this point he is that guy for Cartel. And it's just Cartel doing Cartel things, man.
Yeah. And that will be just about do us for the winners finals. We'll take a short break. We'll get ourselves lined up into one of those loser round matches. Anyone that we can sort of just jump ourselves into, cannonball style. We'll figure it out. We'll get it all locked in. It won't take us too long, we hope. So grab yourself a quick brew and don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.